Scorpio, there's something about you that people sense even before you say a word, something that's in your eyes, a silent power that pierces any mask, any facade, any well-constructed lie. You look at people and see things they themselves don't want to admit. You see hidden fears, repressed desires, truths buried beneath layers of fabricated self-image. And that makes you simultaneously the most fascinating and the most feared sign of the Zodiac. While you watch this video, I want you to reflect on how many times in your life people have looked away from you. How many times has someone told you that you are too intense, or that you look at things strangely? How many times have you noticed that your mere presence in a room changes the energy of the environment? It's not your imagination. It's not paranoia. It's real. You possess the most powerful gaze in the Zodiac, and this comes with consequences that few understand. What I'm about to reveal will validate experiences you've had your whole life, but never been able to fully name. I'll explain exactly what this visual power means, why it exists within you, how it works at the deepest levels of existence, and most importantly, how to use this gift consciously instead of letting it operate wildly and uncontrollably. Because the truth is, your gaze isn't just a physical characteristic. It's a spiritual tool for transformation that can both heal and destroy, depending on how you wield it. Are you ready to finally understand why people react so intensely to your presence? Scorpio, your gaze carries an energetic frequency that most humans are not prepared to receive. When you truly look at someone, not that superficial social gaze, but that deep Scorpio gaze, you are essentially taking an X-ray of that person's soul. You see beyond what they are saying, beyond what they are doing, straight to who they really are beneath all the defenses. And do you know what happens when someone is seen that way? Two things. Either the person feels completely naked and vulnerable, and that generates fear and discomfort, or the person feels finally truly seen for the first time in their life, and that creates such a deep connection that it becomes addictive. There's no middle ground with you. People either avoid you completely or become obsessed with you, and both reactions are caused by the same phenomenon, your gaze that reveals truths. From childhood, you probably noticed that people reacted differently to you. Adults felt uncomfortable when you stared at them. Other children found you weird or creepy without knowing why. Teachers often accused you of being disrespectful or defiant, even when you were just paying attention. It wasn't any of that. It was simply that your gaze already carried that penetrating intensity that dismantles masks. And in a world where everyone lives wearing masks, someone with the power to remove them is perceived as a threat. For Scorpios, born between October 23rd and November soon, this visual power manifests primarily as the ability to detect lies and hidden intentions. You know immediately when someone is being deceitful, and their gaze communicates this without you saying a word. For those born between November 3 and 12, the gaze operates more as a tool for transformation. When you focus your attention on someone, that person inevitably undergoes profound changes. And for those born between November 13 and 22, the gaze functions as a direct channel to spiritual truths. You see not only who the person is, but who they can become. And this creates a magnetic tension impossible to ignore. What all Scorpios share is this experience of isolation that comes with seeing too much. Because when you see the truths that people hide from themselves, when you perceive the contradictions between what they say and what they really feel, when you identify the power games and manipulations that others don't even realize they're doing, you inevitably become lonely. Not because you want to, but because it's exhausting to be surrounded by falsehood when your vision naturally penetrates all the layers. Have you ever felt completely alone even when surrounded by people? Scorpio, I need to tell you something that perhaps no one has validated before. Your intensity is not a problem to be fixed. Your penetrating gaze is not something you need to soften to make others feel more comfortable. This power you carry is a rare evolutionary gift, and the world desperately needs it. We live in an age of superficiality, of social masks, of performative authenticity, and you are one of the few who can see through all of that, straight to the naked truth. But with this gift comes enormous responsibility, because when you see people's hidden truths, you have the power to use them to both heal and hurt. Your gaze can make someone feel completely exposed and vulnerable, or it can make someone feel finally understood in their entirety. The difference lies in the intention you put behind that gaze, and this is where many Scorpios stumble. In moments when you are hurt, angry, or feeling betrayed, your gaze becomes a weapon. You know exactly where to look to make the person feel small, exposed, ashamed. You know how to use what you saw in their depths to cause maximum impact. And yes, you have that power, but using that power destructively also destroys something within you. Every time you use your gift to hurt instead of heal, you distance yourself a little further from your own inner light. On the other hand, when you operate from love and compassion, your gaze becomes one of the most healing forces in the universe. Because when you look at someone with genuine acceptance, seeing all their flaws, all their fears, all their shadows, and yet still conveying that this person is worthy of love, something magical happens. This person begins to heal wounds they didn't even know they had. Your compassionate gaze has the power to make people forgive themselves, to accept themselves in their entirety. Can you feel the difference between these two ways of using your power? The Scorpio gaze also relates to their ability to maintain intense and prolonged eye contact. While most people look away after a few seconds, you can hold a fixed gaze that seems eternal. And during that fixed gaze, you are doing much more than just seeing. You're reading facial micro-expressions, picking up on subtle energetic shifts, perceiving inconsistencies between words and body language, accessing information that exists in more subtle fields of reality. This ability makes you a human truth detector. No one can fool you for long. You might even let people think they're fooling you if it serves some greater purpose. But you always know. You always see through the performance. And that creates a very interesting dynamic in your relationships. The people who stay in your life are the ones who eventually give up trying to maintain masks around themselves. They are the ones who accept being completely seen, completely emotionally naked, because they realize you're going to see it anyway. But encountering these people is rare. Most prefer the safety of their masks and distance themselves from you, and that hurts. Because you're not trying to be intrusive. You're not trying to make people uncomfortable. It's simply who you are. Seeing deeply isn't something you choose to do. It's how you operate naturally. Turning off that ability would be like asking you to stop breathing. And yet, throughout your life, you've probably tried to soften your gaze, tried to pretend you didn't see what you saw, tried to lessen its intensity to better fit in socially. And what happened? You felt fake. You felt like you were betraying your own essence because you weren't born to be superficial. You weren't born for shallow relationships. You weren't born for empty conversations about the weather and celebrities. You were born for depth, for truth, for transformation. And your gaze is the main tool you have to access and facilitate these profound experiences. There is a spiritual reason why you have this gift. In the grand evolutionary scheme, souls like yours serve a crucial function. You are the revealers of truth, the transformers, those who force growth through exposure to what is real. Human societies naturally tend towards superficiality and falsehood because it is more comfortable. And then people like you appear with gazes that cut through this comfortable illusion, forcing everyone around you to confront truths they would rather avoid. It's not an easy role. In fact, it's one of the most difficult roles a soul can assume in an incarnation, because you will often be misunderstood, feared, avoided. People will call you negative, too intense, dramatic, when all you're doing is refusing to participate in the collective dance of falsehood. But someone needs to play this role. Someone needs to be the mirror that reflects what's really happening beneath the surface. And that person is you. Throughout your life, you will encounter a select few who not only tolerate but celebrate your intensity. These are the ones who are also tired of superficiality and yearn for real connections. When you meet these people, you know immediately. Because when you look at them, they don't look away. They hold your gaze and look back with the same intensity. And in those moments, something extraordinary happens. Two souls recognize each other without filters, without masks, without games. And the connection that forms in those moments is so profound that it can last for multiple lifetimes. These rare connections are the reward for all the times you felt alone in the crowd. They are validation that there are others who operate on your frequency. And when you find these people, cherish them, because relationships based on mutual truth and complete acceptance are rare treasures in this world of masks and performances. Now, I need to talk about the dark side of this power, because every great power has its dark side, and yours is no exception. When you feel threatened, rejected, or betrayed, there's a huge temptation to use what you've seen deep within people against them. You know exactly where the most sensitive wounds are. You know exactly which truths will cause the most pain when exposed. And there's a part of you that wants to use that knowledge as a weapon when you're hurt. Resist that temptation. Because when you use your gift to destroy, you not only hurt the other person, you hurt yourself deeply as well. You move away from the highest version of yourself and align yourself with the darkest version. And the more you operate from that shadow, the harder it becomes to return to the light. Your power is addictive when used destructively. Every time you destroy someone with your gaze or with your words laden with painful truths, you feel momentary satisfaction. But that satisfaction comes at a cost. You become more cynical, more distrustful, more isolated. The higher version of you uses that same power to heal. You still see all the truths, all the flaws, all the shadows. But instead of cruelly exposing them, you create a safe space where the person can confront them on their own, at their own pace. You become a guide through the shadows instead of someone who pushes others into the darkness. And that transforms you from someone feared into someone respected and valued. Your perspective also has to do with your ability to see beauty in dark places. While others look at the shadow and see only something to be avoided, you look and see the potential for transformation. You see the hidden gem in the mud. You see the strength that can emerge from vulnerability. You see the wisdom that can be born from suffering. And that's why you are often drawn to broken people and situations. You see the potential for rebirth where others see only destruction. But be careful. There's a difference between seeing potential in someone and trying to forcibly save them. You can't transform anyone who isn't ready to be transformed, no matter how clearly you see their path, no matter how intensely you look at them trying to catalyze change. Real transformation only happens when the person is ready. And you need to learn to accept that, however frustrating it may be. Many Scorpios waste years trying to fix or save people who didn't ask to be saved, and in the process, they become emotionally exhausted. Their gaze may reveal the path, but they cannot force anyone to walk it. This is a difficult but essential lesson you need to learn. You can offer transformation, but you cannot impose it. Another dimension of your powerful gaze is the ability to see through time. You not only see who the person is now, but who they were and who they can become. It's as if you have simultaneous vision of multiple timelines, and this gives you a unique perspective on patterns, cycles, and possibilities. You see how someone's past has shaped their present and how their present choices are shaping their future. This temporal perspective makes you naturally wise beyond your years. You understand cause and effect in a visceral way. You see how small choices create big consequences over time. You see how unresolved patterns repeat themselves in increasingly intense cycles until they are finally confronted. And you try to warn people about it. But often, they don't want to listen. They prefer to learn the hard way. Scorpio, in the coming days, pay conscious attention to your own gaze. Notice how you feel when you look deeply into someone's eyes. Notice the information that comes to you without words. Notice how people react when you truly see them, and above all, notice the intention behind your gaze. Are you looking with compassionate curiosity or with critical judgment, with a desire to understand or with a will to control? The quality of your intention determines the quality of what you access and the effect you cause. Practice consciously using your gaze as a healing tool. When someone is feeling invisible or unvalued, offer them the gift of being truly seen by you. It's not about empty compliments or pretty words. It's about looking at that person with complete presence and allowing them to feel worthy of being seen in their entirety. For someone accustomed to being ignored or only superficially acknowledged, being truly seen by a Scorpio can be a life-changing experience. Also, practice softening your gaze when necessary. Not every situation requires total intensity. Sometimes people need space to maintain their defenses for a little longer. Learn to modulate your intensity based on what the situation demands, not by trying to make yourself smaller to please others, but by consciously choosing how much of your power to reveal at each moment. Understand that your gaze is one of your greatest treasures, but also one of your greatest responsibilities. You have been given a power that can transform lives, for better or for worse. The choice of how to use this power defines not only the impact you have on the world, but who you become in the process. Choose to use this gift in a way that allows you to look at yourself in the mirror with pride and respect. When this video ends, and you return to your life, you will begin to perceive your gaze differently. You will consciously notice what previously operated unconsciously. And with this awareness comes the opportunity to refine and direct this power in more intentional and constructive ways. You no longer need to be a victim of your own intensity. You can become its master. People will continue to react strongly to you. That will never change, but now you can understand why, and you can choose how to respond to those reactions. When someone looks away uncomfortably, you can acknowledge that you saw something in them that they are not ready to confront, and you can gently allow them to maintain their defenses. When someone holds your gaze and looks back, you can recognize a soul that also seeks depth and truth, and you can cultivate that rare connection. Your gaze is your superpower. It's the energetic signature of your sign. It's the reason Scorpio is associated with transformation, depth, and truth. Other signs have their own gifts, but none have the penetrating ability to see through all the masks of form that you do. Use this gift wisely, compassionately, with conscious intention. And watch how your life transforms when you stop trying to soften who you are and begin to fully embrace the power that has always been yours. Share in the comments an experience where you felt the impact of your gaze on someone's life. You don't need to give details, just acknowledge that this power is real and that you possess it. Subscribe to the channel now, because we're going to continue exploring the depths of your sign and how you can use your unique abilities in ways that uplift both you and everyone around you. Your power isn't a burden, it's a gift, and you're finally ready to fully unwrap it. Turn on notifications so you don't miss content about navigating life as the most intense and powerful sign of the Zodiac. Because you deserve guidance that honors your depth instead of trying to make you more superficial. You possess the most powerful gaze in the Zodiac. Stop apologizing for it. Stop trying to be less. Start using this gift the way it was meant to be, as a light that reveals truths and catalyzes transformations. The world needs your gaze now more than ever.